fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Hello, it's another episode of Women Are So Fucking Cool. Yay! Are you ready? I know I am. Fun fact about today's guest, Valerie Kinzler. Before we chatted on our Zoom call, I never knew who she was. I love that she's the first woman that I got to interview that I didn't know. How did I find her? Our next week's guest, Rue Starr, forwarded the sign up sheet. She told Val to check it out and say, sign up and get interviewed because Rue thinks Val is a fucking cool woman. And I think Rue is a fucking cool woman. So anybody that she thinks is fucking cool is fucking cool because who am I to say who isn't fucking cool, right? Yeah. But Val, it was fucking cool. Oh my gosh. She lives in New York City and she is a musician. She's got some amazing stories and really great insight. And one of the things that I was just really impressed with, she has these amazing community organizations that she works with people. And that's what women do. We help the community, right? And I just want to share what one of these is. And I'm going to read it from her website so I totally get it right off. And I'm putting my glasses on so I can see it. New York City Women Who Rock program serves an online community on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and presents events connecting with International Women's Day, We the She, and unity in the community. One of the keys I've always practiced is that rock and roll women should be integrated men into women's empowerment movements. It sets an example for true professionalism. Yeah. And she adds, singing a hook from her great song, Rock and Roll, Women Need No Forgiving. Yeah. Oh my God. So I am so excited to introduce you to Val Kinzler, Valerie Kinzler, and keep rocking. And until next time. Thank you. Well, let's just jump right into it because I know you're going to have some great stuff to share. What is a FCW to you?
A fucking cool woman to me is someone who supports genuinely from the heart other women's hustle without having to feel as though they need to compete with them, supporting them and respecting their hustle and genuinely delivering support from the heart. And also who doesn't stigmatize genders necessarily, who appreciates the soul and the hustle in everyone, male and female, as long as their purpose is something that's going to make the light brighter for all. Does that make sense?
That makes all the sense. Exactly. Exactly. And tell me about your work that you do with New York's, with the women that you work with and musicians.
Sure. Years ago, I discovered I was pregnant, and I was an older mom when I discovered I was pregnant. And I was working for a nonprofit record label at the time, and I felt really good about the fact I was going to have a child. I've always loved children. I've worked with children for years. I was excited about it, but at the same time, it was scary because as a teaching artist without corporate support or sponsorship, I knew that I had an uphill journey ahead of me. So I wrote a song called Rock and Roll Women, as in rock and roll women need no forgiving. We're just trying to make a living. And it basically, it's kind of like a chick anthem, kind of kind of rockabilly-ish and rockacilly-ish, if you will. And it just kind of, poked fun at, but celebrated the strength within, takes all my strength to be sweet, all my feminine mystique. I'm the queen who threw her throne. Don't tell me to watch my tone. Rock and roll women need no forgiving. We're just trying to make a living, because I was indeed, pondering this new lifestyle of having to make a living while raising a young child. And my mother was too old to help out. And my husband at the time, his mother lived far, far away in Israel, actually. And I have a brother my one good brother. I come from a very interesting family, but we won't talk about that now. My one brother that I get along with lives far away, and I would send my son eventually to summer camp in Virginia, where he lived, which was a great benefit and such, to have a little bit of extended family and get to work more on my art. But I created New York City Women Who Rock as an inspiration behind that song, Rock and Roll Women, because I just couldn't understand why there weren't more women supporting women in rock. I mean, it was obvious, like for years, having grown up through the punk scene, through the metal scene, through the folk rock scene, um, less in folk rock, I think. Women were more highly regarded, but like in the metal scene and in the rock scene and definitely in jazz, there was a lot of, I felt, misogyny and sexism. I really felt it, when I'd go to audition for bands, to the point where one time I went to audition to sing on a track, and this guy was like ordering me to do a sexy dance. And we were like at his parents' house where he had his recording studio set up. And I'm like in his room with his record. And I'm like, this just reeks of inappropriate. It was just like, I couldn't understand why. And then I auditioned also for a bunch of all female groups. And in the all female groups, there seemed to be a with certain gals, not everyone obviously, but with certain gals, they were tentative um, to accept me. It's either you're too much or you don't fit into our category, kind of thing, and I had faced a lot of challenges that way, and I realized, where are the women who aren't judging from the outside in? Where are the women who are feeling from the inside out? And that was what I was trying to create with New York City Women Who Rock. So I said, well, why don't I put together a little concert series where women gather together and the underserved get celebrated. And I didn't want it to be based around age. I didn't want it to be based around musical genre, even necessarily, even though it's called New York City Women Who Rock. We really welcome all genres of music and all ages. And that was important to me because ageism is a huge issue, and particularly among women, and particularly in the entertainment industry, huge issue. And I got a bunch of people who were interested and excited about the idea of featuring women and blah, blah, blah. And one gentleman, a promoter friend who I hired to be a stage manager for our first few events, very nice guy, but immediately he wanted to create his idea of New York City Women Who Rock by dividing it up into age groups. And immediately I said, he just saw the look on my face and he knew it was, yeah. I'm like, no, I don't think so. We're not going to be like, we're not going to be having like, oh, now we're celebrating the 20 somethings, or, now we're celebrating women who are 32. I'm all for like a Moms Who Rock. I actually do want to do a Moms Who Rock thing, concert. But I definitely, wanted to steer clear of the ageism thing. And actually, 2 years ago, I co-founded a nonprofit called We the She NYC with my dear friend Vio Lizzie and another wonderful woman named Marilyn Larkin, who is now doing fitness and bodybuilding. And we ran a post-pandemic wellness for creatives after series after the pandemic struck for elder creatives at the YMCA. And it was just wonderful. They walked the red carpet, and Marilyn is like this powerhouse bodybuilding queen. And she's, a mature woman, and so Marilyn is not our treasurer. We have a new treasurer, another force to be reckoned, another FCW, fucking cool woman, and Michelle Fury, who's a talented singer-songwriter, and she's also a New York City Department of Education biology teacher, high school teacher, force to be reckoned with, and a very nurturing person. And Vio Lizzie has also worked as a teacher and as a counselor, as a psychotherapist, and in the healing arts. And she's a fabulous violin player, and mom of 2 grown boys. So, these women are amazing, and I never would have met them if I hadn't proceeded forth, and I'm still in touch with them. Ruth Starr, who's the person who is the reason why we're speaking today, actually, another force to be reckoned with. Wonderful, wonderful. They call her the punk rock queen of the Lower East Side. I think she's just wonderful. I think that's what they call her. I may be misquoting it a bit, but she's got 2 grown daughters. She just became a grandmother, and you'd never know it. You'd never know it. These women are all powerhouses in their own right. So, I just realized like I need to connect the dots and figure out. It was kind of like solving a crossword puzzle for me. Where are the women who want to support other women? And, you know, and also the men, the strong, wonderful men who appreciate us. And that was the side benefit to proceeding forth with which in 2013 I started New York City Women Who Rock. But that was the side benefit, that there are so many men who are appreciative and want to help. And I did find along the way, paradoxically, because a lot of women's empowerment initiatives can prove to be virtually disempowering at times. And I was trying to figure out why, going back to those early auditions and such, where some of the young ladies that would literally like slam the door in my face if they could have, it felt that way. And I realized that having a balance between both worlds, the best of both worlds, for a common purpose is imperative for the feminist movement to go beyond these boundaries and constraints, where we can be dignified for all of our gifts instead of stigmatized for them. So that's about it. Now we're moving forward with more events. Have to do another fundraiser for We the Chi. We're doing Blues Babe socials. This Friday we have one coming up at Silvana in Harlem. And then I'm working with the Gotham Blues Society with an all women's blues group. And we're going to be doing something at the bitter end. And then we're doing Her Story Rocks on International Women's Day at the Parkside Lounge. And again, it's a variety. It's a variety of talent. We've got folk, we've got rock, we've got blues, and we've got soul, And yes, we have soul. And you know
Yes.
it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's just layers and layers and layers. And one of the things that I'm feeling is, yes, you live in New York City and there are vibrant, amazing community of women out there. And I love that you're disrupting what it looks like to be aging. I love getting older. I love it. But that's another podcast, talk about aging. Um, but I just know that there are pockets of women, fucking cool women, just like us, just like you, everywhere in all these cities, like by doing what you're doing, we're really raising the vibration. We're really raising the energy. We really, really, this is what makes the difference. We just have to keep encouraging women to stand up and get involved. And it's interesting too that you were talking about about where are they? And I've discovered they are when other fucking cool women will introduce you to other fucking cool women. And once you know a few, they just start flowing in, and the other ones don't really matter anymore.
I think that sometimes certain gals are perhaps insecure, and that they're uh, when they're reticent to reach out and unite with other cool women, I think it's coming from a place of insecurity, and the patriarchy has largely reinforced that. That's what I've deducted anyway.
You said something earlier, and I think it's we got to do the inner work. I don't think you said that exactly, but you said something about how you got to know who you are inside.
Yes, yes. Try
You
not
know,
to judge from the outside in. Um,
yes,
and
that's really good.
but society really encourages that. Unfortunately, we have to fight against it every day. And while social media and what we're doing right now on Zoom is a wonderful benefit, Um, the moment we start to speak of our accomplishments on social media, it brings open a whole other um, challenge. And that is what one woman's successes may appear to be can sort of expose the wounds of another person's lack of incentive in that moment, or perhaps things that they're struggling with and they haven't yet found the support to get past a certain point to reach the level they'd like to be at. And that's where social media has these kind of demonic side effects, just like pharmaceuticals. Side effects may include feeling like shit about yourself.
So true. So true. And I just want to remind everybody, as I've been doing these interviews with people, I'm hearing some amazing stories, and I can't compare myself with them. I can't compare myself with you or anyone else, even though there's a part of me saying, well, I'm not as, but I'm like, no, and that's the beauty. When you identify as a fucking cool woman, you don't ever have to worry about comparing yourself to anybody else because you're just as fucking cool as any other fucking cool woman. And there's not one definition. It's an
Right.
inner belief that, or
Hmm.
knowingness rather, I am fucking cool. You are fucking cool.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you are. Um, to be self-actualized is a challenge, and I think because there are so many conveyor belt versions of what a woman should be, or what a rock star should be, or what a mother should be, and we need not should on ourselves, I dare say.
I think you should say. I don't think
Don't shit on yourself.
I know.
You're a fucking cool woman. Stop shitting on yourself.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Wow. Is there any one last like idea thing that you feel like you
Uh,
want to share? This is
yeah, I had an interesting conversation with someone who took charge of a rather well-known women's festival, and on the note of, because we're talking about women bonding together to make the light brighter, I'm not going to name the woman or the festival. Obviously, that would be trashy, but a very close female friend in the industry and I had a meeting with this woman, and she was extremely reticent toward our pitch, which was to bring their festivities our way, and kind of closed us down. And one of the things that I couldn't forget that she said, because I mentioned, hey, I've just founded this nonprofit, and it's we're fostering gender equity and healing through the arts, and we want to do these great workshops for elders and at-risk youth and blah blah blah. And she goes, right there, she like kind of bit my head off and said, well, just so you know, women's music and arts entertainment nonprofits are at the bottom end of the totem pole for funding. I think you should just know that. It was very strange and out of the blue. And I just couldn't forget that. And obviously, our pitch fell flat with her, and we didn't work with her at the end of the day. But I thought, just, my God, that's like the antithesis of what, female empowerment should be. And that's exactly something that, a fucking cool woman to me is someone who has an open mind enough to realize that we don't all have to have the same ideology necessarily, but for God's sakes, respect where they keep going, and then stop the abuse and stop belittling them for being who they are. Let it be. Let it be. How about just, well, that's great. You created a nonprofit. You know, because frankly, with any nonprofit organization, fundraising is no fun at all. It's a ton of work. So guess what? It's not just women's foundations that are at the bottom end of the totem pole. It's tough. It's tough for any foundation. But I just thought it was one of those things that could have been best left unsaid. if you will, and I think no matter what, who I get along with or who I don't get along with, or whose music I like or whose music I really can't jive with, try to be kind. Try to be kind and try to stay open minded, because that inner light of kindness is always, always going to be stronger than anything else in the world.